resting from a difficult job of labor. Seaman Houston took himself a few steps nearer, and from the distance of only a few yards, he saw that the monkey's fur was very shiny and held a henna tint in the shadows and a blonde tint in the light as the leaves moved above it. It looked from side to side, its breath coming in great rapid gulps, its belly expanding tremendously with every breath like a balloon. The shot had been low, exiting from the abdomen. Seaman Houston felt his own stomach tear itself in two. "Jesus Christ!" he shouted at the monkey, as if it might do something about its embarrassing and hateful condition. He thought his head would explode if the forenoon kept burning into the jungle all around him and the gulls kept screaming and the monkey kept regarding its surroundings carefully, moving its head and black eyes from side to side, like someone following the progress of some kind of conversation, some kind of debate, some kind of struggle that the jungle, the morning, the moment, was having with itself. Seaman Houston walked over to the monkey and laid the rifle down beside it and lifted the animal up in his two hands, holding its buttocks in one and cradling its head with the other. With fascination, then with revulsion, he realized that the monkey was crying. Its breath came out in sobs, and tears welled out of its eyes when it blinked. It looked here and there, appearing no more interested in him than in anything else it might be seeing. "Hey," Houston said, but the monkey didn't seem to hear. As he held the animal in his hands, its heart stopped beating. He gave it a shake, but he knew it was useless. He felt as if everything was all his fault, and with no one around to know about it, he let himself cry like a child. He was 18 years old. When he got back to the club down near the water, Houston saw that a school of violet-tinted jellyfish had washed up on the gray beach, hundreds of them, each about the size of a person's hand, translucent and shriveling under the sun. The island's small harbor lay empty. No boats ever came here other than the ferry from the naval base across Subic Bay. Only a few yards off, a couple of bamboo cabins fronted the strip of sand beneath palatial trees dribbling small purple blooms onto their roofs. From inside one of the cabins came the cries of a couple making love, a whore, Seaman Houston assumed, and some sailor. Houston squatted in the shade and listened until he heard them giggling no more, breathing no more, and a lizard in the cabin's eaves began to call, a brief enunciatory warble, and then a series of harsh staccato chuckles, gecko, gecko, gecko. After a while, the man came out, a crew-cut man in his 40s with a white towel hitched under his belly and a cigarette clamp between his front teeth, and stood there splay-footed, holding the towel together at his hip with one hand, staring at some close but invisible thing and swaying. An officer, probably. He took his cigarette between his thumb and finger and drew on it and let out a fog around his face. Another mission accomplished. The neighboring cabin's front door opened and a Filipina, naked, hand over her groin, said, "He don't like to do it." The officer shouted, "Hey, Lucky." A small Asian man came to the door, fully dressed in military fatigues. "You didn't give her a jolly old time?" The man said, "It could be bad luck." "Karma," the officer said. "It could be," the little fellow said. To Houston, the officer said, "You looking for a beer?" Houston had meant to be off. Now he realized that he'd forgotten to leave and that the man was talking to him. With his free hand, the man tossed his smoke and snaked aside the drape of the towel. To Houston, he said, as he loosed almost straight downward a stream that foamed on the earth, destroying his cigarette butt, "You see something worth looking at, you let me know." Feeling a fool, Houston went into the club. Inside, two young Filipinas in bright flowered dresses were playing pinball and talking so fast while the large fans whirled above them that Seaman Houston felt his equilibrium give. Sam, one of the Marines, stood behind the bar. Shut up," he said. He lifted his hand in which he happened to be holding a spatula. "What'd I say?" Houston asked. "Excuse." Sam tilted his head toward the radio, concentrating on its sound like a blind man. "They caught the guy." "They said that before breakfast. We knew that. There's more about him."